We're going to listen to this thing by Mike Lindell, or with Mike Lindell in it. It's about voting machines and stuff. And Mike Lindell has a new product he's selling.
Well, the latest news, I had this whole line of tinfoil hats now, and I have no use for them.
He's got a line of tinfoil hats. All right, I'm going to have this game in the background. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you never played it, it shouldn't bother you too much. Just kind of be in the background here. So check this out.
Mike Lindell's a better businessman than I could ever be, but
No, he's not. He is not a better businessman.
I had a flash of an idea. We need tinfoil pillows, but they need to be like, silk, but they look like they're tinfoil. Like, they're silver. Anyway, definitely use that flash code and make...
Okay. Oh, my God. I have to talk about this for a second. I'm sorry. Mike Lindell claims to be a good businessman. Everybody claims he's a good businessman. I talked about this in the previous one. Let me just touch on this again. He's not a good businessman, okay? The dude is about as bad as it gets. Mike Lindell keeps pushing these promo codes out to everybody and to their brother, when in reality, everybody already knows who he is. The reason to offer promo codes is for brand recognition. Everybody knows Mike Lindell and MyPillow and everything, and they know he's helping the far right and all that other stuff. They know. He doesn't need brand recognition. You know what he means? You know what he needs? Profits. He needs profits. And by giving 88% discounts and stuff, like he has been up to now, this is not how you generate profits. This is how you kill your company. He's a bad businessman, okay? I have a little bit of experience in business management. And, I've never been the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, granted. But I do have some business management skill, and from what I can tell, this guy is piss poor. It's about as bad as it gets, honestly. Oh, and while we listen to these Nutter Butters, we're going to play some Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've already gone through it once. I'm just kind of, going through it again, so...
All right, yeah. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene reps Georgia's 14th congressional district. She's worked to impeach Biden, ban genital mutilation of children, secure our southern border.
She didn't do any of that stuff. Secure our southern border? Great. She's banned genital mutilation of children? So no more circumcision then, is what you're telling me? No, she's in favor of male circumcision as babies. She's in favor of male mutilation like that. What she attempted to pass or talked about passing, I don't know if she passed it or not, who knows, was a law to prevent children from getting trans-affirming surgeries. Guess what? Children have never received trans-affirming surgeries in the U.S. because it's always been illegal. Children getting genital mutilation, that's just not happening. It's never happened in the U.S. It is literally against the law earlier than age 18 to get genital mutilation. But you know how many people between the ages of 12 and 19 got nose jobs in, I think, 2022? About 33,000. 33,000. Rhinoplasties. Do we hear a peep from her on that? Of course we don't. She doesn't care about kids being mutilated. She cares about culture wars, plain and simple.
Work to impeach Biden, ban genital mutilation of children, secure our southern border, end the war in Ukraine, and push the Republican Party to put America first. I can't believe I actually have to say that. The title of her new book bears her famous moniker, MTG. Please welcome to Flashpoint.
Oh my God, they had her on as an interview or whatever. Holy Christ on a cracker. So she wrote this book here, MTG. There are a number of books that are available on Kindle about Marjorie Taylor Greene, about her life, her biography or whatever. But this book specifically, I looked for it. I cannot find a shred of evidence that she's put this in Kindle form, sadly. I really wanted to read this on my streams. Unfortunately, I guess I'm just going to have to wait a while, or alternatively, I could scan the book in myself. I don't want to do that. Holy Christ, dude. I do that from time to time for shorter books, and it takes literal hours. It's insane. Anyways, I guess she's going to tell us. It's got to be absolutely insane, right? I guess she's going to tell us what it's about here.
MTG, please welcome to Flashpoint again, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hello, Congresswoman. Glad you're here.
Hi, thanks for having me on tonight. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you here, especially a fellow Georgian. Thanks for coming on. All right, so Congressman, as Mike just shared the recent ruling, it is a huge win for election integrity.
It's really not. I mentioned this earlier. She's just going to evaluate it. That's all.
Especially there in Georgia. But what does this mean for the rest of the country? Or does it mean anything?
Well, I have to say first, God bless Mike Lindell. It was so much fun watching the segment just before this. He has been vindicated. And
No, he hasn't. He has not been vindicated. This is absolutely insane.
I'm really happy for him. He has taken serious attacks and he's fought for our elections. And we all should.
No, he hasn't fought for our elections. He's fought for the idea that Donald Trump should be president, plain and simple. Trump lost. But he can't deal with the fact that he lost like that. Insane.
Should fight for our elections. The ruling that came down in Georgia, and there's more to come from this case, is extremely important because we were told our elections were perfect. Well, we all knew that the election was stolen, and I'm very excited to see the truth starting to come out of Georgia. That
didn't happen, okay? The election wasn't stolen, and this case does not show that it was, or whatever.
Georgia. I'm also very interested and will be watching closely our Attorney General Chris Carr here in Georgia and how he proceeds to move forward in this case of fraud.
Wait, Attorney General, did she say in Georgia or Florida? I missed this. Hang on.
We'll be watching closely our Attorney General Chris Carr here in Georgia.
I thought it was Brad Raffensperger as the Attorney General. No, it is Chris Carr. Then what's Brad Raffensperger? Secretary of State? Oh, my mistake. For some reason, I thought he was the Attorney General. Okay. FYI, Attorney General does things like sues companies on behalf of consumers. Like, a while back, there was this, not even that long ago, there's an egg company, right? Second largest egg-producing company in the United States, owned by Republican candidate for Senate in Indiana, I believe. Rusty, what the hell is his name? I wrote all of this down recently. Let me see if I can pull it up. John Rust is his name. John Rust, sorry. Owner of the second largest egg producing company in the United States, and he colluded with other egg producing companies, the top 5 basically, to limit the egg supply in the United States by slaughtering his hens early and shipping internationally so that it would drive the price of eggs up further. That is corruption on a scale that, honestly, I expected from a Republican candidate. So anyways, that's the type of thing that the Attorney General should be fighting against. That kind of thing right there. They should be battling in favor of the people to make sure that people aren't screwed over by companies like this. That's what they should be doing.
And how he proceeds to move forward in this case of fraud, election fraud, and it's over 3,000 cases. So this is extremely important, and I think it'll be a spotlight on Georgia for our elections going into 2024. I'm excited, Gene, though. My new book has come out, and it
oh my God,
pulls the curtain back on Washington, and I hope everybody grabs a copy this Christmas.
All right, so, normally when you write a book, you want to get what they call endorsements, people that know you, people that know your work, and they'll write nice things about you and say how much they enjoy your book. So when I got Marjorie Taylor's book, I looked on the back, and I'm like wanting to see things, and right at the top, right here, it says, "Isn't she amazing? Joe Biden. This woman should be on a watch list, not in Congress." Hillary Clinton. She must be
I mean, that's absolutely true. I totally agree.
Expelled. AOC. Marjorie Taylor Greene is calls for trauma and fear among members of Congress. Nancy Pelosi. This is great. You have an interesting way to sell books, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's amazing. I want to know,
what's it like to have people pronounce your entire name when they're talking to you? You have a way to sell books. My middle name, by the way, is Carter. Owen Carter Morgan, O.C. Morgan. Thought about going by O.C. Morgan, but I decided to just go with Owen Carter Morgan. Anyways, that's great. You have a way of selling books, Owen Carter Morgan. Like, constant. It's just, it's weird, man. I'm telling you, it's weird.
Really? Why'd you write this book?
Well, Gene, you know me personally, but most people do not. And ever since I entered Congress in January of 2021, the media created a character of me that does not exist. And then they...
Really? Character of you that does not exist. So is that why I have videos of you saying things like this right here?
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
Or this one right here. This is 2018. I think, is this when she got elected? Is this the year that she was elected to Congress? I'm not sure.
The fact, because we see all these sealed federal indictments, and we're seeing all these other things happen, and there's sources like, he's anonymous. Q is anonymous.
Q of QAnon fame.
But he seems to be completely for the good. He seems to be totally on Trump's side, and he seems to be very high up and connected. So because of those things, I'm becoming more hopeful, and I'm not being as pessimistic, and I'm trying to stop saying it's never going to happen, because I really think it might happen.
What might happen, I hear you asking? She's hoping that the storm is going to happen and everything is going to be, you know, exposed and everyone's going to be vindicated and blah, 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 blah. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay? I don't want to hear any of this nonsense about how she's only trying to help America and all that other BS. She's insane, okay? She needs mental help at this point, for real. Yeah, she's just been lambasted and mistreated by the press, and they've just lied about her nonstop. Come on, man. I've got a whole library of these clips that we'll go through if we have to.
Of 2021, the media created a character of me that does not exist. And then they proceeded to sell that character to the American people every single day, 24/7 in the national media. And the spotlight was put on me very unfairly. So I decided to set the record straight, and I tell the stories behind the headlines. Headlines you've seen like Jewish space lasers, stories that you saw in the news when I got kicked off of committees. I also have a chapter about January 6th, which I think is extremely important because I was in the House chamber when everything happened, and I tell my side of the story and tell what I went through.
Honestly, I'm getting more convinced by the second that Marjorie Taylor Greene was the pipe bomber. When I hear her say some of the stuff that she says, I don't know what else to think. I don't know what else to make of this. Seriously, it's insane.
Also tell about visiting the January 6th defendants in the D.C. jail when no one had gone to visit them back in November of 2020.
Oh, those poor guys. No one had gone to visit them back in December of whatever. How sad is that? No one had gone to visit them. Well, you know what? If they hadn't committed an insurrection against the United States government, maybe people would have come to visit them. Ever knock that one around the old noggin?
And that day still haunts me today. I feel so sorry for them. A big part of my book is holding the Republican Party accountable and the policies that we should be pursuing, the things that they're not doing, such as impeaching Joe Biden, such as passing the Protect Children's Innocence Act to stop the genital mutilation of children. And
that's not happening. It's illegal. It's always been illegal in the U.S.
So many more stories. So it's a great book. There's some funny parts, there's some sad parts, and there's a lot of truth in all those pages.
It is, absolutely. And I want to, you mentioned the J6. Of course, this past week, we saw a massive trove of video footage captured.
Oh, that's right. What's his name? Mike Johnson, the new Speaker of the House, released all the footage of the January 6th events, which is inadvisable. Because there are areas of the House that people should not see because it puts them in even more danger. I went to visit the House of Representatives actually a little while back and was told by the tour guide, the security guards, and things like that, you're not allowed to take pictures in this room. You're not allowed to take pictures here or there or whatever. You know why? Because it put people in danger. That's why.
On J6, how significant is the release of that footage. And why did it take so long?
You know, it's extremely significant. Now, that is 90 hours. There's 44,000 hours. So that was only a fraction of the video that was released just this past week. And it's extremely important. But I want everyone to know that portal that was made public, it has been worked on for months now. It took a long time to build it, and they're still loading videos in there. So it's not something brand new. It didn't just happen with Speaker Johnson. It's been in the works thanks to that.
I'm not actually sure what she's talking about. Portal? Is this like something that no one was supposed to know about that she's revealed? I don't know.
House admin committee. And actually, you know, thanks to Speaker McCarthy for allowing it to be built. And I'm so thankful to Speaker Johnson for starting to release the videotapes. Extremely important. But I'm calling on Speaker Johnson to create a special committee. We need to investigate the former January 6th committee and the members of Congress that lied to the American people. We need to hold Nancy Pelosi responsible for failing to secure the Capitol. But I would argue.
Right, that was Nancy Pelosi's fault. Totally. Nancy Pelosi failed to secure the Capitol. Not Trump's fault. Nancy Pelosi's fault. Absolutely. That checks out.
And allege that she is very responsible for the breach of the Capitol that day and everything that followed after that. You know, we need to pursue and hold her accountable. We need to subpoena DC police, federal agents, FBI, everyone in federal agencies that were involved in January 6th, and we need to know the truth and their role and what they played on January 6th. So I think it's something we need to keep pushing for, not just videotapes. We need accountability.
Well, I like that. I think America likes hearing that accountability word. Lance, let me show you a little piece.
Right. Accountability. Against who? I don't like Nancy Pelosi, I guess. Why are they still talking about Nancy Pelosi anyways? Like, who even gives a shit what Nancy Pelosi's up to? She's not the Speaker of the House. She's not involved in Congress really at all. I think she's finishing out her term and then she's done. I'm not really sure what, you know, how much she has to go still or whatever.
Piece of video. I don't know if you've seen this one. I haven't shown this one to you. Look, this is some of the video. This one stood out to me. No, there's no audio in it. But look at this guy, Lance. He's being walked in, handcuffs. Oh, wait a minute. Let's take these handcuffs off.
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I love how they take contextless clips and show them around to prove that January 6th was. What does this even prove? Anyways, what is he trying to prove with this? Is he trying to say that January 6th people were working with the cops or what? I don't know. If the cops really did bring rioters in and then take their handcuffs off to allow them to find members of Congress to take them as hostage or whatever, the police should be arrested too, in addition to the rioters, the insurrectionists. This shouldn't be like, these people weren't hurting anybody type of thing. Like, I don't even know how he's come to this conclusion. This is insane.
What were we thinking? The show is over, Lance. The show.
I don't understand. What is the claim even being made here? Maybe they realized that there were more rioters there than they could handle. They had arrested one who got in, and then they saw that there were like 1,000 more in the rotunda, and their efforts were needed elsewhere. They couldn't deal with just one single guy in cuffs. I don't know.
Show's over. Hey, fist bump, shake his hand, fist bump the other guy. All right, take all your stuff and leave.
Wait. What was this?
Bump, shake his hand, fist bump the other guy. All right, take all your stuff and leave. And then, we'll see you at dinner tomorrow night.
I don't know what's happening, but I would be prone to believe that they were assisting the insurrectionists before I believed it. Like, I don't know. What do they expect me to believe here? What are they implying is happening? Why would he be in handcuffs in the first place?
Who knows what they're saying there? Lance, when you see this is just an amazing sign of what we're seeing being released in these videos.
We have facial recognition, Gene. I'm fed up with it. I'm going to have a rant right now.
I mean, we have facial recognition, but we don't have a full database of everybody's face. We can compare it to people's faces. But we have to build that database first. Just because we can recognize people's faces doesn't mean we're capable of identifying those people. We use facial recognition in all kinds of scenarios without a database behind it. Like, the iPhone. You hold the iPhone up, it recognizes that you have a face, and it allows you in. And it even recognizes your personal face because it has one database with one person in it.
Get them subpoenaed, get them up on the Hill, talk to us about what was going on there. Who's the guy they just let walk away? Was he just the guy that was he in the crowd, or was he not working with the police? Christopher Wray needs to be dragged up there now and explain how many hundreds of FBI agents were out there and what was their role.
Oh my God, they're absolutely convinced that the FBI was working against the January 6th people to start an insurrection or some other nonsense. Didn't happen. It's a conspiracy theory.
The whole thing needs to be readjudicated. I'll tell you why. They're going to make, against Donald Trump, they're going to make the MAGA movement sound like the evil threat in America. They're going to make Donald Trump the head of the insurrection on January 6th. The more heat we bring over the next year on exposing what happened on January 6th, the more we gut the narrative out from them so that they can't bring it up, and we start to expose the blatant corruption of this communist Justice Department.
You guys remember when January 6th was like a shameful event that nobody wanted to talk about or admit to being a part of? You remember that? Shortly after it took place? Now listen to what these people are saying and doing. They are screaming from the hilltops that they loved January 6th, that it didn't go far enough, and they were all good people and everything else. It's insane. Fascinatingly, though, Donald Trump refused to pardon the January 6th people because he was afraid it would make him look bad. So people are literally spending years of their lives, in fact, decades of their lives behind bars because Trump didn't want to look bad. He totally could have pardoned them if he had wanted to.
Which is what it is. It's not two-tier. I think Bongino has it. It's a single-tier communist regime.
Okay, I don't even know what that means. He says the justice system is not two-tier, it's one tier of communism? That doesn't even make any sense.
Rick, why do you say we're going to keep rolling some of this footage that's rolling? Rick, what do you think? You agree with Lance? Is that what it is, a communist regime?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Man, this has been the Rostock fire for America. We've said it before, but just
talking about the Reichstag, the thing that basically kicked World War II into existence, the thing that Hitler used, the premise, I'd say the premise that Hitler used to justify all of his atrocities and blah, blah, blah.
to remind our listeners, that's what happened in 1933 in Germany. It's what the Nazis used to take over and push out any of their political dissent, anybody that was against them, so that they could get the votes for the enabling acts to give Hitler complete power. That sounds crazy to people. Let's get Mike's tinfoil hats back out here. That's what people will think.
I mean, that happened in Germany. That's not happening right now. The real Nazis, these people right here. Seriously, you doubt me? Let me prove it. Let me show you what I'm talking about right now. This is a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. This is Gene Bailey, same TV show, same people, and they're about to tell us about Hitler.
When we look back on Hitler, Hitler went for the youth. The enemy always goes for the youth. We must take up arms and go for our youth, arms of the truth and of godly principles. But
so they're just calling themselves the enemy here, right? How does it get any clearer? These people recognize that they are just gone. Their minds are gone. They realize that. They are ready to be Hitler of the United States. They are the Nazi Party, effectively. These people are. It's insane. I don't like throwing that around all willy-nilly, but that's what's happening. I'm telling you, man.
But that's exactly what the Democrats have done. They've taken only the violent videos, and let's not sugarcoat it. Let's be intellectually honest. There were a bunch of idiots there as well, right? There were a small crowd of crazy people that did crazy things, and then there was a massive crowd of patriots that simply wanted Congress to do their job. So let's be honest about the whole thing.
Wait, so he's saying that anybody who tried to overthrow the U.S. government was crazy and wrong? Well, those are the people that are locked up in D.C. right now. people who are just patriots, as you put it, and wandering around aimlessly and not doing anything didn't get any jail time.
Let's show both the violence and the peaceful people and tell the whole story, the good, the bad, the ugly. But what the left is doing...
This has been adjudicated. We don't need to tell the story, good, bad, or ugly. It's already been told. We're done. He is desperate to get people to retell this story and re-adjudicate it when there's no reason to do that. We already know everything that took place that day.
Doing is only the bad and the ugly. They're using that.
Right.
That was the only narrative. That's all we heard about for 3 years in order to label anyone that said, make America great, anyone that said Donald Trump is my candidate, anyone that said, I love America, I love the Constitution, I'm against Joe Biden and the communists and what they're doing, that somehow we were violent, that we were the ones gouging eyes and attacking police officers.
Well, these people were doing all of that stuff, and it led up to Ashley Babbitt being shot in the chest because she wouldn't step away and leave people alone. And she was climbing through a window to get to Mike Pence, for real. How much more on the nose does it get? How much clearer can it possibly be? These people are insane.
Absolutely not true. So this is huge that we're getting all of the footage out there so we can get the whole story. I love what Lara Logan is doing with the rest of the story, and we're going to see more and more of that now that the footage is available.
Sadly, Lara Logan used to be pretty legit. She used to be pretty good. She's insane now, completely unglued from reality. She's like a full-blown QAnoner type of person, from my understanding. Just nuts. She needs help.
Well, let me circle back
by
here.
the way, Gene,
Yeah,
horrible that the footage was not available to defendants. Talk about...
It was. That footage was available to defendants. Any footage that they needed to show was available. Footage of some old people picking up a little pamphlet in the rotunda or whatever, that was not available because it's irrelevant.
That's
two-tiered
right.
or one-tiered, however you want to call it.
Exactly
the fact
right.
the Bill of Rights was ignored and the defendants could not get access to this footage, that is absolute evil. That happens in third world countries. Should not happen here in America.
This is absolutely insane. That is not what happened. Get help, people. Seriously.
So let me go back to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. What do you think? You see this footage, obviously, you know about it, and the peaceful. Like we all agree, there are some bad actors in there, but the bulk of these people are, walking slowly through the halls there. What say you, Congresswoman?
All right. The thing is, I believe, or I can't say that. I'm pretty close to being convinced that Marjorie Taylor Greene was the pipe bomber. If you guys didn't know, pipe bombs were placed at the DNC offices and the RNC offices, I think. I don't remember where they were placed. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was nowhere to be found. Nobody can account for her for that time. She doesn't have an alibi. And the pipe bomber was wearing the same shoes that Marjorie Taylor Greene wears. Not a common shoe, by the way. No way to know. We don't have enough evidence to say it was her. Just pointing that out for you. So she's like the last person that I'm going to take advice from on this.
Through the halls there. What say you, Congresswoman?
Well, a lot of that video looks like an ordinary day at the Capitol where I work, where tourists are walking through. That's what a lot of those videos look like.
Really? They do? A lot of those videos look like tourists just waltzing through. I was going to turn this video down because the sound isn't super relevant. So this is just like a normal average day, super regular. This is just like a bunch of tourists showing up. That's what we're seeing right now. People that came with gloves to push windows in, and they pushed in those windows, walk around the other side, open the door to allow everyone else in. Super normal, huh? It's a QAnon shaman right there, by the way. Yeah, this is absolutely 100% normal. That isn't even the most violent video by like a mile and a half. There are a billion others that are really, really, really violent. So, sorry, I don't want to hear it.
where tourists are walking through. That's what a lot of those videos look like. And let's be really honest, there were bad actors there. We don't know who they are, whether they were.
No, we know exactly who they are. Joe Biggs. I mean, hell, a whole bunch of the people there were setting out to take control of the Capitol and take hostages. But Joe Biggs specifically, second in command of the Proud Boys, and Stuart Rhodes, leader of the Oath Keepers, and a whole bunch of others were actually leading militias. They were preparing to take the Capitol in a military-style coup. Seriously, without the military's help.
Were federal agents, an outside group, some sort of funded group. Who knows? Maybe
they were outside funded groups, she says. As in, China funded these groups or some other nonsense. Come on.
Foreign country. We don't really know.
No, we do know. We know exactly who it was.
Who knows? Maybe a foreign country. We don't really know, but America deserves the truth. And I believe, and I've been calling for this, all the peaceful January 6th defendants, all of their charges should be dropped. They should be let out of jail. The Department of Justice needs to stop pursuing these people.
So she just said there were a bunch of crazies that did some crazy things on that day, but most people were fine. And then calls for literally everybody being released from prison. This is a joke.
The FBI needs to leave them alone. Stop raiding their homes in the middle of the night with the media standing out in the driveway. Stop chasing them down in cities and small communities with helicopters and tanks in the streets.
Okay, I haven't seen helicopters and tanks in the streets. There wouldn't be tanks in the streets anyways, because tanks can't go through streets on asphalt. They destroy it. So there were not tanks. I would bet money on that. Aside from that fact, if they didn't want to be, captured or raided or whatever, maybe try not taking part in an insurrection on the U.S. government next time. Just a quick suggestion for you.
This needs to end. And we need people to be as vocal as possible and put pressure on the administration to stop. Because the reality is, it is not going to stop until we get President Trump in the White House and we take back control of the Department of Justice.
So what she just said is she wants to reinstall Trump as the president because it will give them an opportunity to free the January 6th insurrectionists. Okay, just lay it on the line for me then. Can you pull up the video of the pipe bomber, please? Yes, I can. All right, this is released by the FBI. See, we got the pipe bomber walking here. I'll try to amplify this to make it bigger. The devices were placed between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, the pipe bombs were. Help us identify this individual. And then it just, like nothing happened. Just complete radio silence. Sorry, let me blow it up so you guys can see a little bit better too. Nobody said a word. It just kind of disappeared. When has the FBI ever not found the pipe bomber and also just ended the manhunt for them and walked away from the whole situation? Those are apparently very rare shoes. Not very rare, but uncommon at very least. They're uncommon shoes that Marjorie Taylor Greene was wearing that day. I guess the pipe bomber is calling somebody. 7:40 p.m. South Capitol Street. They're calling somebody. I guess they're going to be picked up. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's the pipe bomber footage. And then they sat there and waited, apparently, something. So, yeah, there's the footage, if you wondered. For the past year, FBI has been hunting down and arresting the Trump supporters who allegedly stormed the Capitol on 6th of January. Wait, allegedly stormed the Capitol? No, people stormed the Capitol. More than 700 people have been charged with crimes related to the Capitol riot, with some already convicted and serving prison terms. Despite the staggering number of arrests largely stemming from public tips to the FBI, One individual has still managed to evade the FBI's custody. The maker of a pair of pipe bombs found the day of the riot. On January 6th, authorities identified 2 pipe bombs in the D.C. area, one outside both of the Republican and Democratic national headquarters. The bombs were found just minutes before the riot started, drawing D.C. Metropolitan Police officers away from the Capitol to respond to the threat. Neither devices were detonated, but the bomber has thus far eluded capture. Now, you tell me, who hates Democrats and Republicans equally? Can we think of anybody like that hates Democrats and Republicans equally? Anybody at all? I mean, who knows? Who knows? You know, I'm not like, I shouldn't be claiming that it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Apparently she addressed the claim that she was the pipe bomber. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's see here. Republican Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken to social media to address one of many absolutely stupid conspiracy theories, quote unquote. That's her saying that. Linking her to the January 6th pipe bomber. Back on January 6, 2021, authorities identified 2 pipe bombs. The devices were discovered minutes before Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, prompting concerns that they were planted as a distraction ahead of the chaos. Based on the FBI surveillance footage, the bomber was wearing a gray hoodie, black gloves, light gray Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes. Again, not a common shoe, but one that Marjorie Taylor Greene wore that day. Glasses, and a COVID-19 face mask. Suspect was also carrying a backpack to transport the bombs. However, despite numerous arrests being made over the riots, no culprit for the pipe bombs has ever been located. Here's a perfect example of This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's a perfect example of one of many absolutely stupid conspiracy theories about me. You have to be a completely delusional moron to believe this. Laughable and pathetic. The FBI never followed up on the video footage of the pipe bomber, even though they have the license plate and car identified. Just like the idiots, I don't know that that's even true, but okay. Just like the idiots that are angry at me for exposing Hunter Biden's self-made human sex trafficking. Okay, that didn't happen. Hunter Biden was with somebody, and it was 100% legal and consensual between both of them. And she decided to pull out revenge porn of him. That's not human trafficking. These same idiots actually think I'm the pipe bomber instead of demanding the FBI tell the truth about what they know about the fake pipe bomber. Hey, is this Central Park? Please tell me this isn't Central Park. This looks like Central Park. You were at the January 6th planning meeting. You meant to enable the fake electors all in on the coup. I have no idea what's on Hunter Biden's laptop, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing about overthrowing the U.S. government. That's funny. Here you go. This is the shoe type. This is what the pipe bomber was wearing, and this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene was wearing that day. They are the same shoe, and Nike confirmed that they did sell a pair to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think. I don't remember the details of this. So anyway, who knows? Honestly, it's a conspiracy, and it's one that I really shouldn't be engaging in because I'm above conspiracies like that. But just something to kind of knock around the old noodle, you know? But
we need America to stand up to this tyrannical government that we have right now and tell them enough is enough. And I wrote about this a lot in my book, Gene, and it's important to hold our government accountable. After all, it is funded by the American taxpayer.
It is. In fact, you wrote in your book this statement: what we saw was nothing short of cruel and unusual punishment. Expand on what you saw that day when you were able to go behind the doors and see those imprisoned.
Oh, yeah. She showed up, and oh, my God. I hate to keep jumping to other things, but just let me show you what I'm talking about here. Marjorie Taylor Greene and ex-member of Congress Louis Gohmert, he was removed from Congress recently. He's absolutely terrible. Showed up to the January 6th jail where they're holding them, the D.C. jail, and called them political prisoners of war.
To match them, we have.
By the way, this is mid-May 2022.
To match them, we have been denied the ability to go back and have a tour. We've been denied even a phone call and an answer back. So that's why we're here today at her office to say you need to give us a visit. You owe this to all of the people that we represent across the country, and then this city needs cleaned up. There's homeless people all over the city.
Like, I don't know what she thinks anybody is going to do about that. I don't know who she was calling, but I don't think that they're going to be able to help with all of these same issues. These are all different departments that do this stuff. But okay, whatever.
Crime is out of control, and it has a jail that is clearly a dangerous place for people to be because they're dying last week. And
what, somebody died? What are you talking about? I don't remember that.
And these pretrial January 6th defendants have been held months on end, being abused as political prisoners of war.
Now, that's an interesting phrase to use about January 6ers. If they're political prisoners of war, that means that they are traitors to the U.S. government, right? A lot of them took an oath to the U.S. Constitution and betrayed that oath. That means that they should receive a traitor's punishment, which, by the way, is the death penalty. I mean, I'm not in favor of the death penalty. I don't want that. I'm just saying, if she believes they're prisoners of war, that's what should happen to them, right?
By not only federal judges, prosecutors of the Department of Justice, but also the D.C. jail where Kathleen Landerkin is.
So, anyways, yeah, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking, showing up to the D.C. jail and complaining to people with Louis Gohmert. God, I'm glad that guy is gone from Congress. Insane.
Yes, that's a quote by me in the report that people can read on my congressional website, greene.house.gov. Greene has an E on the end, greene.house.gov. The report is titled Unusually Cruel, and that's the report that former Congressman Louis Gohmert and I created together of what we saw back in November of 2021 in the D.C. jail.
Here's the thing. You want to fight for prisoners' rights? I am all for it. I love it. I love everything about it. Yes, prisoners are terribly mistreated in the prison system. I don't like that. I don't like how it plays out for them. But there's no need to be selective about this stuff. If you want to fight for prisoners' rights, fight for prisoners' rights. You can't just say, oh, the January 6th people don't deserve it because they shouldn't be in there, but everybody else in prison, they deserve it. Now, I would like to see the prison system upgraded and cleaned up and fixed, and I want things to be better than they are now. Look at Norway's prison. This is a prison cell in Norway. They have a chair, they have a nice comfortable bed with a pillow and a mat and a blanket. They have a window to see outside and a bookshelf. This is how it should be. This is what our prison should look like instead of cold, gray concrete. At least paint the concrete a color. This is what our prison systems should look like. You know why? Because recidivism rates, i.e. the rates of people showing up to that prison again, dramatically lower when they have a chance. When they have an opportunity to learn a skill in prison, when they're not treated like animals, they don't act like it. Anyways, yeah, you know what? You want January 6th prisoners to be treated well? Fine. But everyone else has to be as well.
And what we witnessed for the January 6th defendants then pre-trial who were being held in solitary confinement 22 to 23 hours a day, complete human rights violations.
Agreed. Do you care about everybody who deals with that? Do you care about all of the people who are in solitary? Of course she doesn't. Never did. I don't like solitary confinement either, although usually they just do solitary like that if somebody is incorrigible and completely out of control and causing problems for everybody else. So, I don't know if that's what's going on or not. I have no clue why they kept them in 23-hour lockdown. Maybe it was justified, maybe it wasn't, who knows.
Really one of the saddest things, and it still haunts me to this day. And so I wanted to write about that in my book and wanted to highlight that because it should not be happening. It's absolutely horrible. And people can get a copy at mtgbook.com to read about that chapter and read the other stories.
Oh my God, dude. It's just nonstop plugging her propagandistic product. Man, I wish I could find a Kindle version, a PDF version. I really don't want to, I want to get it legally, because if I'm going to talk about it and front of an audience of thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands, I need to have a legal copy. But, oh my God, I don't want to scan it in. That sucks.
And they can also read our full congressional report, again, on my congressional website, greene.house.gov.
All right, you brought up President Trump. I want to get to, just to show you at home that are watching. By the way, I talked to Lance about this before he went on the air. We are being suppressed this is back like 2020 levels of shutting us down. So,
oh, give me a break. They're ever the victims, right?
I want to recommend, if you're sharing this video, share it. Go to Rumble. All of our videos are there. You need to share our Rumble feed. It's the whole Flashpoint channel. Every video is there. Share that with all your friends and family, because we are being shut down, or almost shut down. They're just letting us, anything we talk about political, which is about every show, is being shuttered.
BS. I call BS on this. I don't believe them for a second. Show me some evidence of this. You know, there was some talk that maybe Rumble was juicing their numbers. They were adding views in that weren't actually there. And I didn't believe it. Honestly, I didn't believe that was happening, because I know how social media works. I know how all of this stuff is calculated and how these algorithms function and everything else. But after seeing how Twitter has operated in recent days and everything, I think that they may be. I think Rumble and Twitter may actually be juicing their numbers.
And so I need your help. Get the word out. All right. So listen, there's something about President Trump that just, people have lots of reactions to President Trump. They love him. Oh, he's horrible. But I have never heard this. Look at this interview with Jen Psaki.
Oh my God. It's going to be insane, right? You know why German prisons also look kind of like that? Because of the article on one of our constitutions. Human dignity shall be inviolable. To respect and protect it shall be the duty of all state authority. Wow, I love that. That's really good. It's a good constitution.
So there's been so much speculation, contemplation, discussion of what Trump wanted to do, what he knew or didn't know. I mean, do you think, as a prosecutor, this is something that could be useful in the case against Trump? How will it be used?
Is she talking about like the January 6th footage? How will the J6 footage be used against Trump?
For a prosecutor, this is something that could be useful in the case against Trump. How will it be used?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he says I would be well received, because he knows that the people who were there are his supporters, who he riled up and incited to invade and riot at the Capitol and try to disrupt the proper counting of the Electoral College votes. So every time he talks, he's putting himself into a bigger criminal hole. That's not his objective. His objective is purely political at this point. Politics don't work in a courtroom, as I think he's finding out in the New York Attorney General's case in New York, a civil case, and that's going to continue in his criminal trials. But his rhetoric is really getting dangerous, more and more dangerous. And we saw what happened on January 6th when he uses inflammatory rhetoric now, and his recent Truth Social post is incredibly, incredibly scary for anyone that might be trying to work in government. And
I mean, his rhetoric is scary, period. It's all scary. It's disturbing to hear somebody say some of the stuff that Trump says, for real.
It is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Wait.
When he says eliminated, I'm sure he meant eliminated from the voter pool. He should have, or from the, not the voter pool, from the candidate pool. I'm sure he didn't mean eliminated as in taken out, but he should have chosen his words more carefully. Elimination is a bad word to use when talking about politics and stuff.
What did he say? Lance, he said he has to be eliminated. Listen to what Charlie Kirk...
Just completely. Like, they know that he was not saying Trump should be, like, killed or something. They know that. You can't convince me they don't.
Then I want to get your comment. Charlie Kirk says, if a Republican went on TV and said that a Democrat presidential candidate needed to be eliminated, they'd be raided by the FBI within hours.
Well, that's because these people are actually like going out and trying to eliminate people. Like Donald Trump hasn't had any attempts on his life. You know who has? Nancy Pelosi. And Paul Pelosi almost died because of what Trump's extremists did. So, yeah, obviously.
Donald Trump is facing half a millennium in prison for saying people should fight. And
half a millennium. He's talking. So he means 500 years. He says Trump is facing 500 years for saying people should fight. It was a little bit more than that. In fact, it was a lot more than that. But okay.
Donald Trump is facing half a millennium in prison for saying people should fight. Instead, Dan Goldman alludes to the assassination of Donald Trump and does so with zero consequences and zero fear of any. What else could possibly happen here, Lance? And he's right. Charlie's right. They would be taken to task. They find themselves in a D.C. jail.
Hey, listen, there's a nut job, former director of the CIA under Bush, and I think it's Hyatt or something like that. It drove me crazy. And the guy said that Trump should be shot. Okay,
I don't remember that. I don't stand for that. I didn't hear anything about it. I'm skeptical. I'm sorry, man. I just don't believe a word out of these people's minds. I just don't.
And nobody talks about it. Former director of the CIA puts that word out there. So here's what I will tell you. There's an interesting verse. We have a spiritual audience out there in Flashpoint, and it refers to when Satan takes people captive at will. What you're looking at in media and on the left is a situation where people are beyond the point of rational, objective discourse. Because there's a number of people that are actually turning in their opinion of Trump. The African Americans male, for instance, population has gone up to 26%, shifting towards Trump. So there's a number of people.
The African American male population shifted toward Trump. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to need to see some evidence of that one. I'm just curious. Let's see here. Okay, waning enthusiasm from black voters presents an inflection point for Biden's campaign. That's the title of this article, November 20th on NBC News. Is that what he's talking about? There's nothing about 26% here. I have no idea what he's going on about right now. Waning support for Biden does not mean they're voting for Trump. It just means that there's waning enthusiasm for Biden. That's
people that no matter what kind of propaganda has been bombarding them are still able to think. But there is a group of people, and you'll hear them in the political class, and you'll hear them in the media, and you'll hear them frequently in academia. Honestly, Gene, they are taken captive at will. And this is the language we have in the New Testament of people who have lost the objective faculty use of their mind and have it kind of seized with a kind of narrative and perspective that overrules their own judgment, and now an idea has them. They don't have an idea.
What is he talking about? I'm sorry, man. I'm just lost. You saying that the New Testament talks about an idea having them? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
By the way, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to beat this boss. This is a really hard boss to beat, and apparently items have been disabled for my use through this entire section. I don't know. That's kind of a stupid... Not being allowed to use items should not be one of the, settings on difficulty or whatever.
You're going to see this increasing for the next year, unlike 2020. The rhetoric, the emotion, and the degree of bizarreness is going to start to manifest, and we're going to have to be really held back by the fruit of the Spirit of self-control, because we're going to be in the presence of demons talking through people.
Let me go back to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. You heard that eliminated comment. What's your thoughts, Congresswoman?
Of course, they're going to pretend that everybody wants to take out Trump or something. That's not what was being implied or laid down or whatever.
Well, as a member of Congress, I serve on the Homeland Security Committee with Dan Goldman.
Oh, I forgot. She served on a committee. Oh my God, dude. Imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene investigating things as a member of a committee.
I'm very familiar with him. Also serve on the oversight committee with Dan Goldman. And he is a Levi Strauss trust fund baby. He is ultra rich, one of the elites, disconnected from real America.
Right. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's not ultra rich and or disconnected from America. Totally.
Is completely clueless of what it takes to actually work hard every single day. He's also a radical leftist, and he served as one of the attorneys on President Trump's first impeachment under the Russia hoax. Dan Goldman.
Okay, the Russia thing, that was not a hoax. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Is By
the way, look at in Final Fantasy VII Remake, look at this. This is supposed to be Mako energy. This is really incredible. The waves, the water, and everything. That's really cool, right? The lifeblood of the planet. Interesting. Anyway, sorry.
Trump's first impeachment under the Russia hoax. Dan Goldman is absolutely serious when he says President Trump should be eliminated, and he knew exactly what he meant when he said it.
I doubt it, but he shouldn't have said it anyways. No excuses for that. Okay, this battle is, from my recollection, very, very difficult.
I saw that.
Wish me luck here.
He also had to come out and he issued an apology for that statement because it's completely unacceptable. But never forget who Dan Goldman is. He is definitely part of the deep state. That's where he comes from. He's part of the radical left. He's part of the Communist Democrat Party. And so we should take
Communist Democrat Party, okay?
Take him at his word. I think he definitely meant what he said.
Yeah, you're right, and thank you for bringing it up. He did actually post a tweet and said, I apologize for the poor choice of words. Okay, all right, so your book, MTG, published by Winning Team Publishing, our good friend Sergio and everybody over there. Again, tell us again how people can get this book, Marjorie.
Sadly, not in PDF format. I really wish I could get that PDF.
Okay, they can go to mtgbook.com, mtgbook.com. Order your copy, order a couple of extras to put in the stockings at Christmas. It's a great read. It's a book you don't want to miss. And it's flying off of shelves. It just came out today, and the orders have been flooding in. So go ahead and get your orders before it sells out. And I'm thrilled for you all to read it and really learn what goes on in the swamp and what we can do about it.
Thank you, Congressman, for joining us. Before we go to break, I want to play this video. Producer Jason found this, a Trump 24 piece narrated by Tucker. Can you believe that? Watch this.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love him in spite of everything they've heard. They love him often in spite of himself. They love Donald Trump because no one else loves them.
They love Trump because no one else loves them. Okay, interesting.
The country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to die in their unfashionable little towns, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden. Whatever Donald Trump's faults, he is better than the rest of the people in charge. At least he doesn't hate them for their weakness. Donald Trump and
I don't know what that means. Trump doesn't hate people for their weakness?
In other words, is and has always been a living indictment of the people who run this country. That was true 4 years ago when Trump came out of nowhere to win the presidency, and it's every bit as true right now. Trump rose because they failed. It's as simple as that. If the people in charge had done a halfway decent job with the country they inherited, if they'd cared about anything other than themselves, even for just a moment, Donald Trump would still be hosting Celebrity Apprentice. But they didn't. Instead, they were in...
Like, I don't understand what he's even saying here. What does any of this mean? And, dude, I am sucking at this right now. I have to get better at this, or I'm going to die. I'm about to die, actually.
Competent and narcissistic and cruel and relentlessly dishonest. They wrecked what they didn't build. They lied about it. They hurt anyone who told the truth about what they were doing. That's true. We watched. America is still a great country, the best in the world, but our ruling class is disgusting. A vote for Trump is a vote against them. That's what's going on in this country.
All right, Rick, let me go to you out of that piece.
Okay, I don't even know what that meant. What did that mean exactly? Like, what was he trying to communicate? A vote for somebody other than Trump is a vote against our country or whatever? Is that what he said?
So, you know, you hear the comment there that Tucker makes, a vote for the ruling class, a vote for Trump is a vote against them. Do you really see it that way?
So he's trying to, okay, I understand. He's trying to, like, turn anybody against, like, Biden that they possibly can. It doesn't matter if they're in favor of Trump or not. They just want to get rid of Biden. And that's how they're trying to bribe people effectively into voting for Trump. All right, got it.
Yeah, you know, Gene, I hate to keep going back to 1930s Germany, but I just can't stay away from the similarities. We're in a race. We're in a race between those who would save America and essentially have a political counteroffensive to the left's domination of all of these different institutions in America. We're in a race against them being able to literally stamp us out. I mean, just prevent us from having any voice, being able to do exactly what Goldman said, eliminate Donald Trump, and do more of what Marjorie Taylor Greene witnessed with my friend Louis Gohmert
Oh, Louis Gohmert's terrible. I'm so glad he's out of Congress.
The Gulag in Washington, D.C., which was absolute violations of the Eighth Amendment and most of our other Bill of Rights due process amendments. The abuse of people for their political position, not allowing them to shower, shave, cut their nails. I mean, solitary confinement. It's
like, this is all complete nonsense, what he's saying here. Wow, dude. I just died. That really sucks. Now all I have is Barrett. That is messed up.
Political position, not allowing them to shower, shave, cut their nails. I mean, solitary confinement. It's
like, I don't stand for people being mistreated. Absolutely against that. I agree. That's bad. But you know what? I also don't stand for people trying to overthrow the U.S. government, and I want a change for all prisoners, not just the January 6ers. You stand for January 6 people being treated just as well as every other prisoner? Me too. Let's treat all of them okay. That's not what they're fighting for.
Evil stuff, what was done to them. And I really believe they want to do that to all of us. I think we're in a race to stop an absolute totalitarian state. And the only way we're going to win that race is if people do not sit on the sidelines any longer. They have to get engaged to prevent this evil from spreading across our nation. So I think the way that Tucker said that is absolutely right. And I think they want to eliminate not only Donald Trump, but the rest of us.
So true.
They want to eliminate all of the people that they don't like or whatever. Okay. We're
going to take a break. When we come back on the upswing, we're going to take a journey to Bethlehem. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Journey to Bethlehem. Fascinating. Okay. Well, let me know what you think about this in the comments. These people are shameless. Seriously. Shameless. It's insane.